Hello and welcome to Game Changer Live, brought to you by connorscoaching.com. We created our show and our growing community to share about topics of coaching, mindset, and more. And we go live to bring you the most authentic and unedited version of ourselves, which means I'm going to make mistakes, and this is live, and this is what you get. We go live every Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with occasional guests, and together we inspire. That's our motto. My name is Daniel Connor, and I am a professional coach. I'm a certified professional coach, and I'm an owner of Connor's Coaching and a proud member of the International Coaching Federation, as well as a local leader for my local IFC chapter. Stuck people hire me when they're ready to get unstuck because it doesn't feel good to be there. And they may not know exactly what it is that they want to do or where they want to go, but when they're ready to get unstuck, that's when we work together to uncover a more purposeful and satisfying life on their terms, not mine. And my personal motto, is that every day we wake up to find the better version of ourselves in the mirror. So here we are. It is tax season. It is one of the seasons that stresses a lot of people out, especially if you're a solo entrepreneur like me, because you don't know what your taxes are. And that can be kind of a difficult time. But I'm not actually here to talk about taxes the way that we think about them. I want to challenge us to think about taxes on a broader level, and that is the root of taxation, of feeling taxed, of feeling like you're being held back. And I want to think about how we're taxing ourselves on an emotional level. I am an emotional person. I used to get in trouble in school for being overly emotional, and it turns out that that was my superpower. It turns out that I am very in tune with the emotions that are going on with me, and that insight, that intuition really helps me connect with other people on an emotional level. And that is what the foundation of my coaching is all around, is around listening and feeling the energy and the engaging my empathy and engaging my intuition around what's going on with my clients and helping them filter out all of that emotional noise. And what it ends up happening is almost every time we find out that they're spending a lot of extra emotional energy pardon me, they're spending a lot of extra emotional energy on an area of their life that they didn't really realize what they were doing. So it's an opportunity for us to go deep and explore what kind of emotional refund you owe yourself. And this is a great topic to talk about this time of year, since we're already thinking about taxes here in the US. And if you're not in the US, I'm not familiar with what your nation's taxation rules are. So hopefully this doesn't sound too culturally biased here. But really, I want to start with the emotional paycheck that we get. And that sounds really funny, but this is something that if you've watched our show before, you've heard us talk about before. And that is that anytime you feel satisfaction from doing something, anytime that someone else gives you a good job or attaboy for doing something well, that's an emotional paycheck, and you feel it. You feel your account balance surge when people give you that kind of praise, that kind of accolade. And when we're experiencing that emotional surge, if we're not heavily taxed, it feels great. We're uplifted. We take it for face value. We listen and we believe in it. But when we're heavily emotionally taxed, it doesn't go very far. It doesn't matter how well we did. There's no sense of pride in having someone else say, good job. So that's really what we're talking about here for this episode specifically is when you get your emotional paychecks, are you getting the full value out of those paychecks that you are entitled? When when I think about this, I think of this as an opportunity to really refund yourself. But when we're looking at that refund, we need to realize who we're paying. When you are looking at this kind of emotional taxation, you're the one that's taxing yourself. You're the governing body that's creating this tax on yourself. And it could be for a variety of reasons. Maybe you feel guilt around something. Maybe you feel like you could have done a little bit of a better job than you did. And so when they say good job, it doesn't go very far because you have doubts, because you're not letting that full paycheck get into your account balance. And I realize that I'm taking this as an analogy really far, but I think that that's an important way of communicating an idea that's as difficult to talk about as this. So, and that one thing I just want to say real quickly is that this is probably going to be a very short episode because we've talked a lot about doing a lot of insight work and all sorts of things. I really want us to just put a frame around the emotional tax that we put on ourselves and a process for getting that money back and to review your taxing standards so that you can figure out how to properly tax yourself in the future so that you get the most out of your paycheck. Does that make sense? So, when we're looking at this, there are two tools that I specifically offer as a coach to my clients. The first is, as a coach, I'm a little bit like an emotional bookkeeper. My clients talk to me about what's going on in their lives, how they're feeling, and I listen for clues that they are draining their own emotional joy out of life, that there's a lot of shoulds in their stories. I should have done this. I should have done that. Or I could have done this. That's what I mean when I talk about emotional taxation. Those things take the joy out of other people praising you. Another way is that you're constantly setting higher expectations for yourself than is necessary. So let's say that you are a contractor and you are working for local businesses to help them with a marketing campaign or with some other internal operation. And they say, we want you to run this and this, and that's what's going to fulfill your contract. And you decide that you want to go the extra mile to create something that's beyond their expectations. And you do, you blow it out of the water, but it wasn't as good as you imagined in the first place. Way better than what they expected, but it's not as good as what you envisioned. That's a form of emotional taxation that could have been prevented if you thought about it in those terms. So when you're making those kinds of expectations for yourself, the more conscious you are, the more in control of those things you are, the more you're able to look at them and say, does that actually add value? Or is that too far? Is that too much? Do I have the resources to pull that off? Do I have the time, the energy, and the wherewithal to complete this project? And if the answer is no, then why are you setting those expectations up? Why is it that you want yourself to fail? So that is the first area, is I am like an emotional bookkeeper. We look at how you are spending your emotional energy. We look at how you're setting yourselves up for expectations on things that you're working on or in the past that you didn't feel like you did as well on. Why is it that you feel that way? What is it that you expected? What was actually expected by the people who you were providing it to? And why is it that you needed to push yourself so much harder than you were capable of doing? The second that I can offer, and this is unique to me as a coach, not unique to me, but only coaches who graduated from my program can offer this, and that is the Energy Leadership Index assessment. Last episode was a lot about this, but what this assessment is like, it's like a tax refund in that it tells you exactly where you're spending your energy. It tells you exactly where you're putting your money, as it were, with your emotions. And that can help you decide whether or not you're investing in your future or whether you're just dumping it all into a tax, if you will. And that's not that's those aren't the words that are used for the assessment itself, but it's not a big stretch to get there. So if you are interested in working with someone to help you improve your emotional taxation strategy, consider hiring a coach like me. Consider taking the ELI. Right now, I can offer the ELI at cost because I have a couple of extra assigned to me, and I want to get rid of them. So if you're interested, I do have a few spare around, and I would give them to you at cost if you're interested. It is a 90-minute commitment for debriefing with me, and I think it takes about 10 to 15 minutes to do the test, maybe 20 if you're really thoughtful about it. Um, and I said test, it's an assessment. It is a predictive It's not a predictive assessment. It's an attitudinal assessment, which means that it measures your attitude and your perceptions in the world that you live in two different forms: when you're stressed out and things aren't going your way, and also when you're in your normal, kind of optimized form. So really, this is a call to action. The call to action is, even if you don't hire me as your coach, even if you don't decide to get this ELI from me, which is an amazing tool, it's worth about $300 and it only costs about $57 if you sign up right now. Because I have these extras. I only have 6 right now to spare, so sign up for those. They'll go fast. It's first come, first serve. But even if you don't work with me, I want you to start looking at how you're taxing yourself, how you are making yourself miserable on a daily basis, so that you're not getting as much out of life, as much joy or fulfillment as you could be. Because that's a miserable place to be. And I said that this was going to be a short episode. That is what I had prepared for you today. And that's okay, because I was a little emotionally taxed this week myself. And that's what it's all about, right? It's about setting reasonable expectations for yourself. That's really what I'm talking about here today. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today and for watching our show. This is such a great opportunity. I see a lot of other YouTube channels out there where they have a viewership of like 10% of their subscribers viewing their show. I have 50% on average on my monthly shows. So I really want to thank you so much for subscribing to our show, so much for watching regularly, so much for participating in the comments or in the live chat. By the way, we do have a live chat. You can chat with me live in our live episodes. And if you can't make our live episodes, leave us a comment with what inspires you. Share this video with someone who needs to look at their own emotional taxation. Consider giving that gift forward and helping our community grow. And until next time, I want to wish you the very best, and